Quitters. What is this ritual?
Toitwit sonegat kai quen fetenida hilnaudet kassin? Vrekte quest dam, farqueder sheda. Na fravint quedes et buiet fis vregu dani.
I am sorry. You must be thirsty.
Jori saben. Nas samelan oilan.
Nas munigin armanse. Anet renaikse. Ja fargest ni.
Es volad. Sag echt so bud pigneg. Anabali tartous nie noli hamem. Entaventeiam. Farberdai sedet madia amberdend danita quet?
Na fravint. Na fravintnem. Quiesem kaidendet renaiksa donegada. Sagnain virtwint hadem. Ages ovun varemem bert neudam dagdani.
Aheda? Nasmat to. Help!
Help!
Please, please! Our friend is ill!
Come quickly!
Sheda! Oh, no. 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 No, Sheda, Sheda. Oh. Oh.
Avrana, Komaro sent, say hangomda doiki.
Land ahoy! I see a lemur!
Avoni soinoiga. Nasni lugan neu kon. Linquidis tegedachtani. You scum! Bastards! Mas mewn entem kirandini, aren claudides en tulem taisene ker. Escleuem na vorkenender davuie donegadamen.
Now there's a language I don't speak, but I recognize that accent.
Who are you?
You're from Tyr Fredi, are you not?
Of course. And you? Who are you? Why are you here?
My name is Fausta. I was born in Teleme, and they've locked me up in here because I saw things I wasn't supposed to see. Are the stories true? That there are creatures as big as houses on your faraway island?
Creatures? We call them Nadaig. They do exist, but they are rare and sacred.
Quae radit sindas? Es renoixe. Nas nes runandas.
What have you done to find yourself so far from home?
We didn't do anything. We were torn from our land by armed men who killed our master before our eyes. They locked us up in the belly of a ship, the likes of which I had never seen. The voyage lasted an eternity. They barely fed us, and without the help of a woman, we would have died of thirst. Our friend, Sheda, didn't make it. She fell sick, and was coughing horribly. Her face grew hideous, covered in spots. She died very suddenly.
I am truly sorry for your friend, and also for your master. The Bridge Alliance can be extremely cruel.
At one point, a man with a bird mask came and put us through a strange ritual. He cut us, then he cleaned the wound. He came to observe us from time to time, scribbling things.
That is strange indeed. And you felt no particular effect following...
Quiet!
Sorry to interrupt your little chat, but I thought that you would be more comfortable outside.
Who are you? Why have you let us out of this cage?
Would you prefer to remain inside? Introductions and explanations will come later. For now, we must run.
I would also prefer to continue this discussion outside.
Why should I help a criminal?
Supposing that I were one, then perhaps to confound your pursuers.
Fine. While you look great in those outfits, I suggest you look in that trunk. Your things should be in there. All right then. Onward to freedom.
so much yesterday, you'd be in better shape.
Guards. Just as I expected. Let me talk to them. I know how to handle these people.
Wouldn't it be better to try to get past them without being seen?
That's a possibility, but are you stealthy enough for that?
Oh, come on. It's not often we get to celebrate the departure of one of the old-timers in the barracks.
I know, but we have to remain vigilant. We've got a lot of prisoners right now. Try to hang in there until the next shift, okay?
Don't worry. My friend is waiting for you at the entrance to the sewer to lead you to safety.
Huis.
Besevena me sadegi. Buis katasarto aridenger. You! I won't let you lock us up again.
I have no intention of doing so. I've come to help you escape.
I can confirm that. She's the one who sent me.
I'm glad to see you're all right. I don't know you, though.
My name is Fausta. I was locked up for...
I'm sorry to interrupt you, my dear, but this is hardly the time for pleasantries. They must have realized that you've escaped by now. They'll have raised the alarm. I'll create a diversion and try to draw them off in another direction. But you've got to get out of here. I'll meet you as planned at the end of the sewers, just outside the city. Go on.
Be careful. Let's hurry. Even if Sybil is able to distract the guards, we'd better not dally. Wading through the sewers isn't much fun, but these tunnels should lead us out of the city.
Onet katasach. Nas munig in ormonse.
Quai biurdniek ter de gaudem, ma caiud formedem droqui.
Quota fravindau kasaren noikse. You were on the boat that kidnapped us. Why?
It's my job. My life. I'm a Nor, but I want you to know that I completely disapprove of the things you were made to suffer.
What is that thing?
A kind of crustacean that has infested the sewers of most major cities. Unfortunately, there are more and more of them. Stay well away. Those nasty beasts are very aggressive.
What exactly are knots?
Nauts are members of a guild of navigators, explorers, and sea transporters.
A clan of seafaring human traffickers.
No. While Nauts can, of course, transport people, we're not supposed to do it against their will.
I don't remember anyone ever asking us, though.
I know. And I'm sorry. On the ship, I was in no position to go against my captain's decisions. Which is why I've come all this way to find you. To make amends.
What about the other woman? The one who says her name is Sybil.
She's very resourceful. She's probably already waiting for us outside. How? She knows the city like the back of her hand. And up there are no giant crustaceans to fight or floodgates to operate. being responsible for freeing a suspected criminal.
After what you just did, you're one too in the eyes of the law. But if it's any consolation, I'm not a murderer or anything like that.
Where have we been taken?
You're talking about the city, I presume. This is Alima, also known as the City of Stars because of the observatory that stands on top of the hill. It's the largest city in Tainea, the capital.
What an enormous labyrinth.
It's almost like a city beneath the city.
Some of the Alliance's creations are truly impressive. Even if I'd have preferred to make the trip with dry feet.
They certainly seem clever. Did you know there's even a system of floodgates to prevent flooding?
The door behind us closed.
Actually, these are floodgates used to regulate the water levels in the sewers. They help prevent flooding. Maybe we'll find something that'll activate the faulty lever behind this grate.
Thick oil. They must use it to grease the sewer's floodgates. This will be useful.
Be careful. Here come the guards. These doors seem to work together.
There must be a way to open them one after the other, independently.
This lever is stuck. It won't budge.
Maybe we can find some oil or something similar around here. There must be tools to fix this thing nearby. Were you able to action the lever? Great. Now we can open the doors one by one. More guards. They're not taken to the idea of you escaping. We're almost there. Push this lever and we'll be able to get out.
Your escape plan was brilliant.
Getting out of here is just the first step. We've still got a...
last. I thought we'd never see the light of day again.
I hate to interrupt your celebration, but we mustn't linger. We're still too close to Alima.
Where are you taking us?
Far from here.
There you are. We nearly left without you.
Breaking several people out of prison is no easy task. There were a few surprises.
So this is the famous friend you told me about.
Friend is not the word I would employ, but he is someone I trust. Allow me to introduce you to Ludwig. He's a smuggler who knows every back road between here and Dutton.
Interesting.
Ludwig, let me introduce...
No introductions. This isn't a party. The less I know, the better. And it's better for you, too. That way I won't have anything to tell them if I get caught.
Se chames cair saveren. Yana quies ment fravin daunes hanumumen.
Why are you helping us? We don't have any gold to give you.
Since gold makes the world go round, that would be a valid reason. But sometimes I do favors in exchange for something else. And a Naught's debt is invaluable to someone like me.
You got us out of prison, and now you are indebted to this man for us. Why?
Because I believe it's the right thing to do. It was one of my people's ships that took you from your home. One of your kinfolk lost her life. I owe it to you.
Where are you taking us?
We're headed north, outside a small coastal village. Some of your kinfolk are hiding there already.
Others from Tir Fradi? Really?
Did you think you were the only ones who were brought here and escaped? Many powerful people in this cursed country find it delightful to keep pet natives. Your kind don't like that very much, just like you don't enjoy being prisoners.
And the villagers haven't turned them in?
They've got other things to do, like survive. Helping the rich find their toys wouldn't bring them anything, but trading with the newcomers can be invaluable. But we still need to avoid the soldiers as much as possible.
Alvida said you were a smuggler. What's that?
Smugglers are very clever people who discreetly move forbidden or taxable goods from one country or region to another. We know all the secret routes and how to avoid guards, hence why we sometimes take passengers such as yourselves.
I do not understand. If these goods are forbidden, they must be dangerous for your people, are they not?
Let's just say I don't agree with those who have decided that the goods aren't dangerous. Lucky for you, I don't agree with the fact that they lock certain people up, either.
Alvida said you were a smuggler. What's that?
Smugglers are very clever people who discreetly move. We know all the
I don't know.
Let's just... Lucky...
I think we have no choice but to follow you.
Don't worry. My head is probably worth more than yours. I have no reason to take any unnecessary risks. Speaking of which, we'd better get going. The longer we hang around here, the more likely one of those louts on the ramparts will see us. My friends, this is where we part ways. I'll lead these people to safety and meet you on the other side of the border.
You're leaving the caravan?
They have a long way to go before they reach Dutton. Let's go. We must find my contact. He often fishes further up the river.
Who is this contact?
One of your people. The only one I really know. He'll lead us to the others. They're hiding somewhere in these hills or in the ruins. Without his help, we'll never find them. Those cursed monkeys are everywhere around here. Stay on your guard. My contact usually waits a little further up the river, so as not to be seen from the village. Yes? Do you need anything?
If I've understood correctly, you're from the land they call Dutan?
That's right. The Holy Dutan Empire. I suppose you'd like me to tell you more about it. It could be a beautiful place to live. It's vast, full of beautiful forests and rich lands. That's most likely because it's soaked in the blood of the poor souls who were sacrificed to the folly of the powerful. For my country has always been at war. Or at least it has been for so long that no person alive knows the meaning of the word peace. We're at war with the Alliance, of course, as the Dutan Empire follows the path of the enlightened. But we are also at war with ourselves. Ever since a new holy man challenged the organization of all things spiritual as imposed by Ptolemy, the nobles and princes have taken sides, following whoever best serves their interests, of course. And as usual, the people are those who pay the price. Not only are they sent to the slaughter against the Alliance troops, they must also shed blood at home, by killing their brethren in the service of the local noblemen and their loyalties of the day. A beautiful country indeed.
How long have you known Alvida?
It's been some time now. I've had dealings with Nauts on several occasions in the hope of using their ships. Those who agree to traffic contraband are few and far between, and they are unreliable. They're even more unscrupulous than I am. Alvida isn't one of them. She's not like that, and she let me know the moment we met. She's an idealist. I understand her point of view, and I think she understands mine. Though she doesn't approve of my dealings, she defends some causes that are dear to me. And now that she owes me, I know I can count on her help. Provided, of course, that what I ask for doesn't offend her vision of the Nauts.
Why did you become a smuggler?
I'd rather not discuss that if you don't mind, especially with someone I barely know. But since you're asking, I haven't always been a smuggler. I used to be a soldier. If you absolutely need a reason for what I do, just tell yourself that I've had my fill of the horrors of war. Or maybe you think I'm a coward, or that I'm only motivated by greed. I am what I am.
I think you mentioned you were a wanted man?
You can't be a smuggler without ending up on the hit list at some point. My trade annoys a lot of people, and the few attacks my friends and I carried out on convoys annoyed them even more. Put all that together and add in my past, and you'll find me at the top of the list. If you needed money and weren't wanted yourself, you could claim a handsome bounty by turning me in.
See you later.
Of course.
If I can be of any help, let me know.
You say you hail from Teleme. What can you tell me about your country?
My country? It's almost strange to put it that way, even though it is true that I was born there. Teleme is vast, greener and less arid than Tainea. Numerous cities budding with towers and belfries pierce our horizons. The most magnificent among them is the capital, Montorga. The Council of Cardinals rules from there. They are both our highest political and religious authority, and they wield powerful magic. But that's a paltry description that lacks personality, isn't it? In truth, Teleme is vastly complex and utterly beautiful. I hope one day to return. The way the sunlight dances over the church rooftops at dawn is a warmth I often miss.
What are you doing in Tainea? Your countries are at war, are they not?
I had to leave my country. I was banished after an unfortunate incident. I could have gone to Peren. It would have been less of a challenge. I did in fact travel through there before arriving in Olima, but there were too many things that reminded me of my home country, and too many people from Teleme who bore grudges because of my actions. Going to Tainea was a risky leap into the complete unknown, but it offered me the chance to have a new life.
I crossed paths with missionaries from Teleme on Tir Fredi. They spoke of your religion, but what can you tell me about it?
You already know that we worship a god that we call the Enlightened, and that Saint Matthias, his prophet, converted us to worshipping him. The Enlightened blesses us with his light, the source of all life, and offers some the gift of magic. I'm no expert in theology. I wasn't much of a student on the subject. I have a more instinctive approach, despite my gift. But if you are truly interested in the topic, it won't be hard to find entire books on the subject.
Are you a believer as well?
Yes. Are you not yourself a believer, even though your divinity goes by a different name? How can one not believe when the Enlightened, or the god you worship, blesses you with the power to defy the laws of nature? I know well that the Alliance thinks it is nothing more than a phenomenon they've yet to explain. And I'm sure that in the end, a scientific explanation will be found for everything. But I do not share their opinion.
What was it like living in Olima when you're from Teleme?
It was difficult at first. Everyone was suspicious of me. I wasn't just a foreigner, I was an enemy.
But I learned to hide my differences in public, and not to talk about my origins or my beliefs.
As for those who already knew, I told them why I was in their country, which reassured them. As an exile, I was seen as less dangerous. But you're right, it wasn't easy. I had to change all my habits, practically change my skin to adapt, in order to survive. Sometimes, I even forgot where I came from, who I really was. I became the mask I wore. I imagine you're asking me this because you're wondering how you're going to be able to live on the continent.
I'm just pondering it. I'm not ready to follow the same path as you. I couldn't deny who I am for anything in the world. Despite the hostility of many of those we meet, I won't give up my identity or my origins to please them. Tir Fradi is part of me. I can't abandon it.
I understand. You were taken from your land against your will, while I had to go into exile because I'd made a mistake. I wasn't happy about leaving my country, but I had no one to blame but myself. Unlike you, you could take the easy way out and blend in, but you prefer to hold your head high. That's very brave. Dangerous. Perhaps even foolish, but brave. And your love for your land and your culture speaks volumes about you. As much as I love my country, I don't know if I'd be willing to take such a risk.
I must leave you.
See you later. Yes? What do you want to talk about?
I must leave you.
See you later.
I'm listening.
What were you doing on the ship that kidnapped us if you didn't approve of their actions?
When you're a common sailor, you can't choose which ship you embark on. And you can't choose your missions or what you're transporting. Like most Nauts, I disapprove of carrying forced passengers. And believe me, I said just that to my captain at the time. But alas, he's the kind of person who puts profit above conscience, enriching the guild rather than adhering to its original spirit. I'm sorry. I'll do my best to redeem my people and convince them to stop the trafficking.
Have you and Sybil known each other for a long time?
We met a few years ago when I was a deckhand on the ship that brought her to Alima. We hit it off right away, and we saw each other several times while she was working. We became friends, and when I was looking for a way to get you out of jail, she was the first person who came to mind. She's resourceful, but also funny. You should see her impressions of her uncle. She's incredible.
I won't bother you any longer.
See you soon.
Now that we're a safe distance from the prison, I imagine you're expecting me to introduce myself? Sybil de Vespe, at your service.
Your plan worked perfectly, Sybil. Thank you. We'd never have made it without you.
It did, didn't it? I'm rather proud of myself, especially since it was my first jailbreak. I would have preferred to avoid the altercation with the guard, though. Would have been more elegant.
You had an altercation with the guards while escaping from prison? That's to be expected, isn't it?
We could have avoided it, but yes, it was to be expected. But you must have questions. Who is this mysterious woman, really? How does she manage to remain so elegant after crossing through the sewers in half of Tainea?
Why did you come and free us from prison?
Because it was fun, of course. Like any spoiled noblewoman, I'm desperately bored, and any distraction is welcome. I jest. I simply did my best to respond adequately to my good friend Alvida's request. I wouldn't refuse your thanks, but it would be more fitting for you to thank our kind-hearted Naut.
I told you, I feel responsible for what happened to them. Those monsters used our ships to rip them away from their land. Their friend died on one of our ships. I couldn't let them die in that horrible prison.
You've proven my point, Alvida. You've got a heart of gold. And a delightfully idealistic view of the Nauts.
How did you manage to enter the prison? You didn't poison all the guards.
No, as you were able to see for yourself. It just so happens that I am. Rather, I was a diplomat in Alima. I was a representative of the merchant congregation there. It gave me a number of privileges, including the right to visit most of the city's official buildings.
You seem quite well equipped for a diplomat.
I'm a Devesp. We're born with a sword in one hand and a vial of poison in the other.
Why did you come with us? Someone like you must have better things to do than follow a group of freshly escaped Tirfredians.
Better things to do, perhaps, but this journey has an absolutely delicious taste of adventure about it. But alas, the truth is far more mundane. After organising your escape, it would have been difficult for me to keep my position as a diplomat. And besides, let's just say that Alima's climate was beginning to take a toll on my health.
How do you always manage to make light of everything that happens, as if nothing really mattered?
Believe me, a lot of things are important to me. But derision and levity have saved my life more than once. When you're born into a family like mine, steeped in conspiracy and surrounded by murder, when tragedy and horror are daily occurrences, humour is the only way to keep from sinking into madness. I've seen firsthand what madness can drive us to. All I had to do was look at my dear cousin Octave. No doubt you had a very different childhood.
It's true, I haven't experienced murder and conspiracy, but things haven't always been perfect. My father died when I was a child. He was killed while out hunting. My mother found his body. She was never the same after that. But despite it all, I was lucky. The whole village was there for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why, but I imagined your life was peaceful before you were taken. We have such an idyllic vision of life on your island. I should have known it was just a fantasy.
You seem very proud of your family. They rule over a city, if I understand correctly.
The ancient city of Peren. The oldest inhabited city on the continent, if local legend is to be believed. My family, the Devesps, have been merchant princes there for generations. No other family in the city would be mad or suicidal enough to claim the title anyway. You see, my family has made assassination their art and manipulation their language. And an unquenchable thirst for power pulses through our veins. However, we are no longer the leaders of the congregation, as Peren has lost some of its influence. That honour belongs to the Dorsays, the Princes of Serene. And of course, every member of our family has sworn to take the title from them. My uncle is His Highness Alexander de Vespe I, assisted in his sinister plans by my cousin, Octave, whose name alone is enough to make one tremble in fear. Between you and me, they're all obsessive murderers who have been driven mad by inbreeding and idleness. But their name still opens many doors, which could be useful to us.
You mentioned you were a diplomat in Olima. What exactly was your role?
I was the legate, which is a way of saying I was the congregation's ambassador to Olima, at your service. I represented our nation in this great city, which, while though it's not a capital, is a major city in the Bridge Alliance. My job there was to further the congregation's commercial and diplomatic interests. I had to make sure certain agreements were reached, and sometimes I had to keep others from being signed. It's a rather boring job, to be honest. The only good part about it is that you're invited to attend ever so many parties and banquets.
You called Alvida a good friend. However did the diplomat and the knot become close?
I met Alvida when she was a sailor on the ship that took me to Olima. We hit it off quickly, even though it may be hard to believe when you look at me today. I was a little nervous at the idea of being all alone in a foreign country. She introduced me to the beauty of travel and discovery. We met again in Olima later, when she was visiting. During one of our last encounters, she helped me out of a tricky situation, even though she didn't have to. It was the first time someone had done something for me without expecting anything in return. That's rare, especially when you're a Devesp. My, just listen to me, getting all sentimental. The reason doesn't matter much in the end. We're friends, that's all.
You must know Orima well. What can you tell me about this city?
Is that all I am to you? A tour guide? All right. Orima is a sprawling city divided into 4 main districts, each dedicated to a different activity. The city's famous observatory looms above it all. The port is Naught territory. They have a concession there that allows them to have their own docks and warehouses. That's where most of the trading and exports take place, in particular to Tir-Fredi. Then there's the Science District, which gives the city its nickname, the City of Stars. The city's founders built all the city's laboratories, teaching facilities, and observatories there. It's mainly inhabited by pedantic scholars who know absolutely everything about everything. They are Olima's elite, the city's nobles, as it were. Of course, there's also a district for the city's craftsmen and other noble artisans, tanners, blacksmiths, and the like. It's a very lively district, because even though it's far from the front lines, it's involved in the war effort. Which brings me to the last district, the military district, where you'll find the barracks of the Coin Guard and the Alliance's soldiers. There. I think that about does it.
Let's talk about it later.
Always at your service.